Hey guys, what's up? No headband today. I don't even know if you've ever seen me without my headband. I received my new screw gun today and I started ripping open the box and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. I need to do a review on this because this is the screw gun that I recommended to you guys a few weeks ago. So we're gonna cover this baby coming up on RV Street. Okay, let's get right to it. So you remember when I did part 3 of my 3-part series of crucial, high priority stuff that all RVers should be carrying with them at all times? Well, in part 3, when we were covering the tools, remember when I said this? The first thing you need is one of these, a screw gun, a battery operated screw gun. I've had this one for 15 years and it still works pretty good, but it's kind of going on its last leg and I need to replace it. And I've already picked the one that I'm going to replace it with. Well, that new drill driver that I mentioned there that I knew I needed to get, my old one gave up the ghost about a week or two after I made that video. So I went ahead and ordered the one that I recommended to you guys. I wanted to put my money where my mouth is and show you that this DeWalt screw gun driver is just an absolute awesome gun. Plus, it's made in America. Now I know a lot of the parts are made globally and all that stuff, but they're assembled in America and DeWalt has a long history of making really good tools. As you all know, when you go to Amazon or Walmart or any of these different online stores or even in retail stores, they'll have a particular screw gun that comes in 4 or 5 different flavors and they have all these different package prices and all that type of thing. And they'll take one gun and they'll put it with a set of drill bits, or they'll take one with one battery but no charger, and on and on and on it goes. And it gets very confusing on which is the best deal. And that's why I chose the link that I gave you to this one. I actually could have bought a 2-tool set, this driver and a 1/4-inch driver for 20 bucks more. But here's the catch. It didn't come with the lithium-ion batteries and the extra duty load that you can put on them. So you have to really read that fine print, which I did when I recommended this in the link on that part 3 series. So I'm only ever going to recommend what I would buy myself and use myself. Oh, and by the way, this is not an infomercial for DeWalt, or DeWalt's paying me to do any of this. I'm doing this because I love DeWalt tools. So just wanted to make that clear to start with. Now let's open the box, and trust me, I am not going to show you and go through this big unopening and show you the packaging. Oh, I just hate that. We're just going to get right down to the nuts and bolts, okay? So this is the case that it comes in, and they shipped it in a cardboard box. And when you open it up, well, here's the directions. We don't need those things. Okay, so you get the drill, you get the driver, you get one battery, you get the charger, and you get the second battery already on the bottom, and they give you a belt clip. This belt clip can screw into the side here or here, depending on which side you prefer it to be on, but I don't use a belt clip. I carry this in my bag, remember? So I don't need that either. Now this case here, some of you will keep this in this case. But for me, I don't like using this. I keep my drill driver in my bag as I showed you. So I don't need this either. Okay, now the reason I bought that kit that came with the case is because it had the batteries that I wanted and had some of the other features. The case was just something they added in that particular kit. And that's why I recommended that to you, because I know some people want to keep that in the case and some won't. But it's the features and the battery power that I was really after. I wanted to make sure I gave you something tough, durable, and would last a long time. Remember my old one? This thing lasted 15 years. Okay, so let's take a look at the batteries first of all. Here's the battery off of my old one. Here's the battery on the new one. These batteries will last 33% longer than these. Another thing about these batteries is that they have a fuel gauge on them. You see right here? You just push that button. I don't know if you can see that, but it'll show you the amount of power that is left in your battery. So when you have it mounted on the drill driver, you just look up underneath here and you can see how much fuel you have. How much are they charged? In comparison to my old one, let's put the battery back on. I'd like you to see the difference in the profile of these two. Look at that. Look at the base. Look at the handle. Look how ergonomic that handle is. That trigger is right there. It's got a nice rubber ergonomic grip. And look at it this way. When you put them side by side, look how much shorter that is. That's important. So when you want to get up into really tight areas, you have a lot more clearance. You see that? Look at the difference. I mean, that's significant, especially when you're working on an RV or a motorhome. When you're trying to get into really tight places and it's hard to get up in there, man, that little bit matters. Another thing I did this morning, right after I got this, is I weighed these two. This one here is 5.2 pounds. This is pretty beefy. This one here is 3.5 pounds. I mean, it is significantly lighter. And I'll tell you what, Joni is really gonna love that feature when I give this to her to get, do work for me. These old batteries, this was 15 years old. This is my second set of batteries that I bought, but they wouldn't last long, maybe 30 minutes. And it's also only 18 volt. This one here is 20 volt. And look how smaller the battery is, but it lasts 33% longer than those big bad boys do. When you compare these two together, just to show you how far we've come along in 15 years, this gun here will run 57% longer than this one did. Now it has a lot of the same features that DeWalt's known for. It has a high-speed transmission with 2 speeds. You can see that right here. You have 1 and 2. When you put it on 1, it will go from 0 to up to 500 RPMs. But when you put it on 2, it has a higher rev. It goes to 2,000 RPMs. Okay? It also features a 1/2-inch chuck. So the way you chuck this is this is forward to drill. This is backwards, counterclockwise, to unscrew and put different tips in there. So we're going to hit that button there, and you hold the chuck and watch the tip there when I pull the trigger. You see how that opens up? You take a 1/2-inch drill, you put that in there, you click that forward, hold the chuck, and that's how you tighten it up. To get that drill out of there, you push the button in here, hold the chuck, and it'll pop right out. It'll also use the smallest of drill bits. Same procedure. Push it in so it'll tighten, hold the chuck, and it chucks up a small drill bit. You see that? To take that out, you push it this way, hold the chuck, and take the drill bit out. Now I'm going to show you a little drill test on why we have these 2 different speeds. So we're going to take our chuck, we're going to put in a Phillips screw tip here, push in the right, hold the chuck, tighten it up. It's in there, right? We're going to take a block of wood for just the test purposes. So in addition to the first and second speeds, you have this dial right here. You see that? It goes from 1 to 15, and that works for both speeds. Let's say, for an example, you wanted to put a screw in, but you didn't want to do this. You see how it just drives it right through that wood? You're like, oh man, I just split that wood, or whatever. You want to go and just kiss the top of that wood. Well, that's what this dial does. It adjusts the torque of the brushless motor. If you don't want to have as much torque driving on that screw, So we're going to go to the very extreme, from 15 all the way around to the very end of this dial. Watch what happens when you do that. You put it in there. You see that? It slips. It has like a slip clutch in there. It won't, the torque, once it comes down and it gets resistance, the torque will slip and you won't drive that screw. Now, depending on the type of material you're going into, maybe you would put it on a setting of 3 or a setting of 7 or maybe all the way to 15 like we did here, where it'll drive it all the way through, okay? So setting number 1 is when you want it to rotate slow, 0 to 500 RPMs. If you're going to be drilling through metal or drilling through things like that, that's when you would put it on 2. And again, you can still use this torque dial here, but this is where you would use to really drill something through fast. It's a faster RPM, and that's what you would want to do when you're drilling. Screwing, you would probably drop it down to 1. It just depends on the material. You've just got to kind of get used to the tool, but I'm just showing you the features. 1 is low RPM, 2 is high RPM, usually used for drilling. 1, you can adjust the torque to be able to kiss right up against a piece of wood, metal, or whatever you're using. Another great feature about this and why I chose this one is my old one did not have a light on it. Now, normally when I worked with this one, I have a headlight. You've seen them. You put them on your forehead. It has a strap around there and you turn on the light. I use that all the time. But sometimes you get into situations where you can't get your head down in there, like under a cabinet or whatever. And I was like, man, I wish I had a little light on this driver, because I've used other people's equipment that did have a light. And I was like, man, the next time I get a driver, it's going to have a light. But this one has an LED light, and it has 3 different positions. You can see the switch right here. You can have it here, here, or here. It's 3 modes of brightness, and it comes on automatically when you pull the trigger. So before you start using the tool, you just decide, do I want a little light, medium amount of light, or a lot of light? And as soon as you pull the trigger, the light's going to come on and it's going to shine right up to where you're working. I just love that. I absolutely just love that. Oh, and by the way, once you release the trigger, this light will automatically go off in about 10 seconds or so. That's what I figured out. Okay, we came back up here to the motorhome so I could set up the table and where I have power, because I wanted to show you the battery charger, okay? So here we have the battery, okay? And I got it plugged in, and you just flip it upside down and you pop it in there. When the red light is blinking, it's charging. But another neat feature about this charger that my other one didn't have is that when it starts to get warm as it's charging, it'll automatically stop and it'll allow everything to cool, then it starts charging again. My old one, it wouldn't do that. It would charge, and when I actually came to pull out the batteries, they were warm. And I think that's one reason why my batteries just didn't last as long as they should have. So again, not only do we have a new battery, these lithium ion batteries, 20 volt, that lasts 33% longer, but they're lighter, they have a smaller profile, and when they're charging, they actually it'll stop for a few minutes, cool down, and then start charging again. Love that feature. I think the biggest thing I love about this, I mean, there's so many things. I love the light. I love the powerful batteries. I get 2 with them and a charger. But I love the way it fits in my hand, and it's light. And I don't know, it's just such a great tool. I can't wait to start fixing stuff. Oh, and it comes with a 3-year warranty too. So now you see why I recommended this. It's lighter, it's got a better grip, got more powerful batteries, it has a light, it has the same torque features here that my other one did, smaller profile where I can get into tighter places. I mean, I'm just so glad I got this, and I just thought you'd appreciate a kind of a review of what I recommended. So just in case you're interested, I'm going to put a link to this unit down below in the description area. just look underneath the video and you'll see show more. Click that and scroll down. If you're on a smartphone or maybe a tablet, look underneath to the right of the video and you'll see a little arrow. Click that and that'll show you that information. That'll prevent everybody from having to go back to part 3 to the video where I covered all the tools and find the link there. And I just wanted to say thank you too to everybody, for Joni and I, for using our links when we spend the time to do these things on the coach and show you the tools and all these different things. You guys are going to those links and you're using those links to buy your gear. And I just want to tell you from the both of us how thankful we are. It really supports our channel and encourages us to continue on. So thank you. So just as a reminder, guys, and especially you that are new here to our channel, if you'd like to see some of my previous Class A upgrades, maintenance, and DIY how-tos, if you'll go to our main YouTube channel page and click playlists, once you land on the playlist page, click motorhome upgrades, maintenance, and DIY how-tos. And there's a whole bunch of information right there. Lots of videos there. So hey guys, if this was helpful, give me a like and some comments. I'd love to hear from you about this here. And if some of you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. It's free. And if you ring the bell off to the right after you subscribe, you'll be notified the next time I upload my next free video. I mean, what a deal, right? So that's pretty much it, guys. Until next time, this is RV Street. Stick around.